Namaste. Hello everyone. Welcome to Shal Gulhati, Shiva and Mysticism for another episode of Monday with Mahadev. Bhuj Gendra Haram. Amongst the thousands of epithets, thousands of names that we have for Lord Shiva, Bhuj Gendra Haram, which means he who wears a snake around his neck as a garland. Shiva wearing a snake around his neck is perhaps the most popular image that we have of him, perhaps his most prominent characteristic, something that he shares with no other god. We don't have an example of any other god wearing a snake around his neck. And the snake of Shiva finds association with him even in his prayers. If we go to a mandir and see a shivling, we will often see a snake sculpted around it, if not actually around it. We find the snake's name in the prayers. So why is this? Why are all photographs and pictures of Shivji with his snake? Why is it that the snake has so much of importance in Shiva's legend? Everyone wears a pearl gladly, but Shiva, he wraps a snake around his neck as gall. Everyone takes measure of their kingdoms, large or homely small, but Shiva looks skyward, embracing all. This is my take on why Shiva actually wears a snake, and I will read out something from my book The Yogi and the Snake to explain my point of view. But before that, let me tell you what the snake really stands for. The snake is supposed to be a symbol of a Kundalini which has arisen. Kundalini is the energy, the life force which is within every being. It is supposed to be the representation of Shakti, the creatrix mother, within all living beings. And yogis say that it is within each person in 3.5 coils, snuggled inside somewhere, but dormant, asleep. And the path of the yogis is to awaken that Kundalini and make it arise and go through the spine till the Sahasrara, the crown chakra. And when that happens, one is self-realized, one has Atma Vyapti, or one is enlightened. And therefore, the most important meaning of the snake around Shiva's neck is that he is awakened. His Kundalini is awakened. In fact, in his case, it's not just a Kundalini, it's an Antarnag, a big serpent inside which has awoken. That having been said, I would like to draw your attention upon the more humane aspect of this. A snake, as we know, is reprehensible. Usually people are scared of snakes. Whether this is a thing between man and reptile, because sometimes we don't like lizards as well, or whether this is a fear that snakes will bite and they are wild creatures and so we should shun them. Whatever it is, the fact is that human beings and even many animals stay clear of snakes. So in my book, The Yogi and the Snake, the central character is of course the yogi, that is Shiva, and the seeker is called the snake. He calls himself the snake. And right in the beginning, when the snake is looking for answers to life, looking for the connection between himself and God, he encounters Shiva, who is the yogi, in a meditation. And in the meditation, when the snake sees Shiva finally, he wants to say a lot of things. All his life, he has been shedding skins and going along, looking for God, looking for answers. And then when God is finally in front of him, he wants to say a lot of things, but he just utters, "No one accepts me, everyone shuns me." So Shiva tells him, "Come and wrap yourself around my neck in embrace." "You ask me to embrace you simply on the premise that I feel shunned?" asked the snake. And Shiva says, "Yes, everyone is shunned by someone else. The rich shun the poor, the religious shun the rich, and even the spiritual are shunned by many." So the snake asks him that what is the difference between religion and spirituality? And that is how the book begins. And Shiva goes on to tell him many secrets which distinguish an inner spirituality from modern ritual. And the premise of the whole book is that Shiva accepts everyone. He accepts a snake who feels that no one accepts him. And that is enough for him to accept him, just the fact that nobody accepts him. Because he is the ultimate God. Because he realizes that there are no two gods, one for men and one for snakes. There is one source from where all beings have come. So Shiva owns his creatures, he owns his creation, and when someone feels that he is very vile and that he's shunned by the entire world, it has to be Shiva who accepts him. Interestingly, in Hinduism, we have the Devatas, who are demigods, and the Danavas, or the Rakshasas, who are the bad guys. And while the Devatas find favor with God Vishnu and all the other gods, with Brahmaji, with Saraswati, with Lakshmi, the Danavas, pretty much like the snake, are not accepted by anybody except Lord Shiva, for the same reason. He accepts both the Devatas and the Danavas. He accepts both light and dark and whatever notion that this modern world may have of things. And the same imagery is with Ma Kali, his consort, Shakti, especially when she is in a dark mood. The picture of Ma Kali, which is terrifying to look at sometimes, will normally find itself in places which are not accepted as vocations. Like in India, you will find Kali Ma's painting in a butcher's shop, or you will find her picture at the cremation ground, because those who have to burn the dead bodies, the charjis as they are called, again, while they are doing a job that no one else will do, people don't really make friends with them. So there is a sort of social norm, or a sort of taboo, a sort of resistance to some people, some vocations, some creatures. And Shiva and Ma Kali say, we accept everyone. It is because of their acceptance that these people also realize that they are part of God. It is because Shivji is Bhujgendra Haram, the one who wears a snake as adornment, that the snake is also able to find his salvation and have a massive association with Lord Shiva. So this was the story for today, and I will be back next Monday on the same channel with another story for you. Please join me here. Om Namah Shivaya.